I forgot for a second Windows didn't update. My mic would have been muted for... Good thing I caught that. Hello everyone, and welcome to the live stream. My name is Asmogan, and I have been absent for a few days. To a week, almost. Sorry about that. I have been suffering illness. And I am mostly on the mend. This is the best my voice has sounded in... almost a week? It's been bad. I'm not gonna, like, weigh down the stream too much with it, but it has been bad. I had to go to the hospital and stuff. It's not been fun. We're gonna leave it at that. Yeah. it is. I am so glad I'm finally on the mend. Holy crap. Anyway. How's everybody doing this fine day? Hope you all are doing fantastic. Just making sure all my stuff is working. Yue Kagane, welcome to the stream. The real Japanese experience. Indeed. Although, to be fair, like Assassin's Creed, this is historical fiction. But then again, it's historical, but fiction in the way that Assassin's Creed used to be praised for, not the way it's like now, where it's just like... At this point, it's just fiction. It's just straight making shit up. Actually, before we actually... I've already started a playthrough of this. I started playing it while I was sick, so this isn't a playthrough stream. I am still early on in the game. I'll show you guys where I'm at before I get into this first thing. Before we actually like get into like playing today and like just chilling and gaming in the stream, I did want to talk about an IGN post I saw about Assassin's Creed Shadow. But before we do that, let me load into the game. Going to be channeling my inner wushu. Yeah, so just to give you guys an idea how far I'm in the game, I'm about 10 hours-ish? 10, 11 hours in. I've mostly been doing open world stuff. I haven't done a lot of, like, I'm still in Act 1, as you guys can see. I have, like, done as much as I can with, like, Sensei Ishikawa, Lady Masako, and the Straw Hat Ronin. But that's not very much at the moment. Just kind of the start to their personal stories. But again, mostly it's been dicking around in the open world. So, I have gotten a pretty solid start into the game. But, yeah, we're still in Act 1. And this is my first time playing. I will say that much. Like, I never played this on PlayStation 4. And which is weird, because I have one. But I guess it just kind of fell under my radar. So, this has been a fun experience for me so far. Still better historical fiction than Yubi trash. Oh, yes, exactly, Katie. Also, welcome to stream, by the way. Hope you're doing fantastic. So that leads me to actually wanting to talk about that real quick. Yeah. So let me pull up this post from IGN. Which... Okay. It's IGN. We all know they're trash, but this is ridiculous. Excuse me. But hopefully you guys can't hear my coughing. I did put a noise gate on my mic. So if you guys do hear it, tell me. Like, tell me. That way I can, like, edit my noise gate. Because I don't want you guys having to hear that crap. So anyway, IGN said, if you're surprised to see an African man in feudal Japan, you may not know his fascinating true story. You mean the two things we know about him? The two things? What a fascinating, like, huge history he has. The whopping nothing we know about him. What are you talking about? His fascinating true story. He was black. Oda said, that's cool, dog. I want you as my retainer. Here's the stipend. That's all we know. Well, we also know he was, like, brought there by, like, was it Jeziles? Or, it was some kind of, like, missionary group. But he, like, went with them. That's the other thing we know. Those are the two things we know. Oda thought he was cool-looking and tall and intimidating, so he hired him. We don't have no actual historical written feats of the man. We have no idea what Yasuke did. We don't even know what his real name was. Yasuke was what he was named by Oda. So, what the fuck are you talking about, IGN? Fascinating history. Truly fascinating. All the nothing we know. It's so... Anyway, this is Yasuke, known widely as Japan's first black samurai. First and only, as far as I know. Like, maybe my historical knowledge is really bad here, but... It wasn't Yasuke the only one ever recorded? So it wasn't the first. He was the only one. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to take that away from like the real Yasuke. Credit to him if he was actually given that rank. There's still debate about that as far as I've seen. It's like, again, we don't know exactly how that went down. We just know that he was there. He was taken in by Oda as his servant. It's likely he was made a samurai because to serve Oda directly, he would have had to have had some level of status. But he was still, but not when I say that, I don't mean like nobility status. I mean basic status within the culture. So he probably or possibly was a samurai, but not in the sense of like how we think of samurai, like the modern day depiction and the modern day thought of samurai. So, as far as I've heard, some people have even said it was more likely he was what was called a bushi, which is a little bit lower on the totem pole than, again, what we would consider modern samurai. But him having been one isn't out of the realm of possibility. In the history, they tried to rewrite it. Oh yeah, if you guys have seen the Wikipedia thing, like that, you think the comment section on the reveal like the cinematic trailer comment section on YouTube for Assassin's Creed Shadow has been wild. Like it has been a hellstorm. It's hilarious, but the Wikipedia, like there is a war being fought on Wikipedia right now. Like every time, like the anti-woke and the woke are like fucking like it's like watching. Like every time I refresh a page, it's like watching one of those like professional ping pong games. You know, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Both sides constantly re-editing it. The woke keep re-editing it to say like he was this big samurai and this big figure and like blah, blah, blah. And then the anti-woke are rewriting it saying he was nothing but a bag holder. You know, like they're both like being ridiculous, but it's hilarious. I fucking love it. Internally I'm a shit stirrer, so I love this shit. I live to watch this kind of shit. But fuck me, dude, this has been hilarious. It was probably like a king having a jester. I mean, to be fair, I don't think that was the case. First of all, Oda wasn't a king. He was higher up. Don't get me wrong. He was trying to unify Japan, so effectively he was becoming that. But Oda was a nobleman, or a noble. Wait, before I put my foot in my mouth, I'm trying to remember the exact rank. Oda Nobunaga rank. He was a daimyo. That's the word I was looking for. So he was a daimyo, which is a lord. It's a feudal lord for Japan. And when he took on Yasuke, he did, like, part of what we know, that was written, is that Oda was an eccentric. The guy liked things that looked out of the ordinary. What's more out of the ordinary than a 6.5-foot black man who probably was used as a bodyguard previously? So he was tall, likely well fit and buff. So, to be fair to the real historical figure of Yasuke, he probably was brought on as both a sword handler, which means he literally carried his daimyo's sword for him, but he also was still likely a quote-unquote samurai. Again, not how we typically think of samurai, but more of like the literal definition of the word as a servant. He was his sword handler and likely bodyguard. That is the historically agreed upon highest he ever hit. Like Yasuke was never like a noble samurai with like the grand, like this artwork, for example. It's quite unlikely he was like this. You know, this is like a noble lordly samurai that, you know, leads men into battle. Like that, this probably wasn't Yasuke. Yasuke was probably well armored. He served directly under Oda. He was likely his bodyguard and his sword handler. And he was probably given a stipend and a small housing of some kind. So all of that can lead up to essentially the title of samurai, but it's samurai with air quotes. So it's not the same as we typically think of samurai. So to say that there's liberties being taken here, There is. There's so many liberties, but the only things we know for certain are two things about Yasuke. Well, three things if you include his race. We know he was black. We know he was brought to Oda by missionaries that he was traveling with, whether as he was traveling with them as their slave, their bodyguard, we don't know, but he was traveling with them. And then Oda hired him because he looked different, and Oda was an eccentric. That's it. We know nothing else. Like, no mentions of him in great epic battles. No enemies he beheaded for his great lord, Oda. No feats of any kind. Like, he's not written about anywhere else. We have even less artistic depictions of him than we do of written history about him. Why would he need armor if he was in it? Well, our attendants still went with their lords into battle. So he would actually need armor. Because he went with his lord wore armor in battle. You know how stupid it would be if you go to the front lines of a war, your lord's sitting there in full armor, so is everybody else, and you're just there in a robe? They might as well just say, hey, we want you to die. So they did likely give him armor. It's just not this kind of armor. There is a cheaper peasant armor that existed in Japan at the time. It was made with paper. And I know typically when we think of like the word paper, it's like thin paper, but I'm talking like waxed, like padded, layered paper. And they like wax it over. I'm trying to remember. I know the Ashigaru wore it. Japan paper armor. Oh, hold on. The first thing that came up was paper armor myth. Maybe I'm quoting a myth here. The myth. Ancient Chinese armies used armor made from paper that could give the same protection as steel armor. Verdict plausible. Oh, so it's not a myth. Because it says it's plausible. Notes. Kari spoke with Antigua. Yeah, but what was the armor called? Because it's saying it's plausible, and there was armor made using paper, but... No, not samurai used it. I know, like, the lower class warriors. Excuse me. The armor of the Yati? I think so. I'm trying to remember what it was called. Because it had a specific name. And I know they used paper and, like, wax and stuff, and they kept layering it. Until it was, like... Basically, it was as good as leather. Well, as good. Tatami armor? Is that what it's called? Tatami armor. Excuse me. I don't think so. Because I'm pretty sure the armor I'm thinking of, it looked like one solid, like, chunk of something on the chest. Well, anyway, point is, he was probably given a cheaper armor like that. Like, something that was enough to stop arrows and, like, initial cuts. But wasn't likely the same kind of, like, plated, decorative, lordly armor that samurais, again, we artistically think of, would wear. He was given enough to do his duties. We know how stupid is because World War II was fought without armor, and you know how many people died by straight shoots. Yes. See you next part. Like I said, I'm not fully mended yet. This illness I have is like sticking with me like glue. Let me pull this over here so I can read the chat better. So I have 3 screens going on here, but... this drama is the best advertisement for Ghost of Tsushima. Sony could ask for... you are correct, Adam. By the way, welcome. Also, welcome Yokai, and I already welcomed you, Yue, and Katie. So, welcome to you all. They use it on their flooring. It varies the seam from progression of time period. It's wood, paper, copper, iron, bamboo, leather. Yeah, like most cultures, they went through different experimentation with the different types of armor and weapons they used. Hey, Nathan, how you doing, my brother? As for our conversation the other day, isn't it a bit sus that if he was a great samurai that was feared, that after the only other person who wrote about him died, he was never seen again in Japan. Well, like that's what I was kind of getting to is, though it's safe to say he was likely a, again, huge air quotes, samurai, more likely a bushi. It's only to the extent of like the underlying definition of a samurai. Like he was a warrior, likely a bodyguard, more than likely a sword carrier for Oda as a servant, but it's the fact that there are no major feats of his ever recorded in history. There is no battles he's ever noted to have fought in, no great beheadings of major enemies, and you're right, he disappeared in written history after Oda died. So, yeah, that does essentially translate to he wasn't this big samurai epic warrior that a lot of depictions have been making Yasuke out to be. Now, that being said, it's fair to have a fictitious idea of Yasuke. I mean, we all like Afro Samurai, right? We all like those very cartoonish anime over-the-top depictions of the idea of Yasuke. But in realistic history, Yasuke didn't do anything notable enough to be written about. Like, after his initial just arrival, and Oda being an eccentric and saying, that guy looks different. You're mine now. I give you money. You hold my sword. Yasuke was probably like, alright, could be worse. After that, we know nothing. So, again, like these depictions of Yasuke, this artwork, this epic samurai who carried into battle his great weapons, like this idea of like this epic samurai has no historical backing whatsoever. We have zero reason to believe he did anything more than just stand by Oda until Oda died. And then after that, he disappeared. Might have even left Japan. So, it is a massive, charitable as hell take to say that Yasuke was an epic samurai. He wasn't. There's no historical evidence for that. That I again, like, nothing. We know he existed, essentially. That's it. He existed, and he served Oda, and it's plausible he was awarded the name of samurai. He was a mercenary, so... Well, the thing is, it depends... that, again, is something we'd need clarification in history for. He was hired by Oda, but if he was given a stipend and was, like, again, this is all... Like, it's hard to explain it with, like, modern terms, but... mercenary it depends, like, if he was, like, a contracted fighter, but then after he did a certain service, he was free to go. But if Oda took him in as a servant, like, I supply you with everything, you're under my command solely, and effectively bought him, he might have been considered a samurai, not a ronin. You're right, ronin were mercenaries, and they were wandering warriors, but that's just it. They were mercenaries. They were contracted for specific purposes and for specific amount of times, and then they left. So that, again, depends on the details in which Yasuke was hired. Regardless, ronin, samurai, either way, he didn't do anything. Bombander, more DEI craft for the woke mob. Oh, absolutely. That's absolutely the truth of the situation. Like, this... And here's the thing. In a different age... You don't know. I'm not even going to be that charitable. This is entirely woke bullshit. Yasuke was just a pet. Alright. Let's be a little bit fair to the guy. Like, I know we're all mad at IGN and stuff like that, but let's, like, be a little toned down. Was he a pet? I don't think... I don't think so. Yeah, Oda did hire him for a purpose. Now, whether that was sword carrying or defense, a bodyguard, we don't know. But as much of an eccentric as he was, Oda didn't, I don't think anyway, hired him on just because, hey, this is my black man. I don't think that's it's funny. That's a funny thought, though. I'm not gonna lie. It's just like, you're mine now. Okay, what do you want me to do? Hold my sword. Okay. And let me show you off to my friends. He's like, my other daimyo. We have all come here today. What is it you want, Oda? I wanted to show my black man. oh, fuck. That is such an amazing image, though. Thank you, Bomb Manor. I'm gonna be working tonight, and I'm just gonna randomly, like, while I'm mopping the floor, that's gonna come in my head, and I'm gonna be laughing my fucking ass off. Oh, fuck. That image is never leaving my head. I'm sorry, like, the picture is now stuck in my head. Like all these daimyo are in this room. They're all in that, like, noble need pose. They all got the tables in front of them with sake. And they're all just showing off these, like, epic things that they have. Like, this is my golden sword, built by the greatest blacksmith around. Well, this is my quill. I acquired it from a westerner. And then Oda just walks in. This big, like, black guy in a robe is, like, right behind him. They're all, like, 5 foot nothing. Big Yasuke is, like, 6.5 feet tall. Oda just kneels down. Yasuke kneels down. He's still torso-wise above all of them. They're all looking over. So, Oda, this is an interesting individual you bring. Indeed. This is my black man. Oh, fuck. I'm gonna cry. Oh. Oh. Oh, fuck. Whew. Whew. Oh, fuck. I'm almost in tears. Fuck me. Okay. But, anyway. All the details around Yasuke's. Oh, God. Why? Oh, my ribs. Hey, Candy. Did you leave? Oh, welcome back. What have I missed? Not much. It was just a pontificating, like, Bombander said Yasuke was just a pet, and then I pontificated, like, the idea that, like, Oda actually just hired this man on just to show off to the other daimyo. So, like, he goes, like, goes into a meeting of them, like, all the daimyo, all the lords of Japan are sitting there, and he just brings in this 6.5 foot black man, kneels down and goes, this is my black man. Lord over me, I'm better than all of you. Fuck. Consider the fact that Japanese are intensely xenophobic. If the curiosity wasn't overwhelming, that he would have been in trouble. Yasuke would have been in trouble? Yeah, or Yasuke or Oda. Because there's an argument for both of them being in trouble for that. I mean, Oda was in trouble anyway, but that's because he was trying to unify Japan under one banner. But anyway, to finish up the IGN post, this is Yasuke known as the first Black Samurai, again, only Black Samurai, and the first real historical person to be a playable protagonist in an Assassin's Creed game. What I find funny is IGN, and, like, and I don't know if Nathan is still here, but we had a long conversation about this, because for those who don't know in the chat, is that Nathan X2000? He's one of my co-hosts on the Voxword podcast. He's also one of my closest friends. And we had a lengthy conversation about this stuff, about Assassin's Creed announcement with Yasuke. And we both hated the idea. The woke DEI stuff was less of my biggest concern. Not because I don't think it's concerning. It is. And for anyone that is, like, they're, like, that's the main thing that they're calling out, by all means, do that. But for me, I expect that from Ubisoft, and I don't say that to demean, again, that perspective. I just expected it. So for me, it wasn't, like, the biggest thing to harp on. Well, it is the biggest thing overall, but it wasn't the thing that I was focusing on. The thing that bothered me the most is two things. One, Yasuke is clearly being portrayed as this big samurai figure, right? That, and he's one of the two player protagonists. Now, we don't know, at least as far, I haven't looked into it, so maybe you guys do know and I missed it. But we don't know if this Assassin's Creed is going to be a case where we choose to, at the beginning of the game, to play as Yasuke or Noe. No, the female shinobi. We don't know whether we get to choose to play one of them or we have to play one or both of them throughout the game. Either way, this presents an issue in the form of Yasuke being showcased to be a frontline fighter, a samurai, not a shinobi, not a ninja. Which, by the way, if they showed Yasuke to be that, that's even more of a fucking leap than showing him off to be this epic samurai. But regardless, for me, that confirms that this game is going to be yet again another pseudo RPG piece of crap. Which is bullshit. I'm sick and tired of that crap. I think most of you guys are as well. I am an old guard of the Assassin's Creed game. Like I played Assassin's Creed 1, 2, 3, all of the Ezio trilogy, Black Flag, Syndicate, although, to be fair, I didn't play Syndicate for years. I played the old school actual Assassin's Creed, you know, when it was a stealth assassination parkour game. Now, it's a pseudo-RPG with parkour mechanics where you can choose to be an assassin, but nobody does that because it's easier to just cheese the game as like a hack and slash fuck up game, you know? And they've done that with Odyssey. They've done that with Valhalla. I fucking hate it. They kind of halfway did it with Mirage. So with Yasuke being a frontline fighter, as showcased by all the artwork and everything, with holding the samurai, holding the katana, that's more or less confirmation that this is going to yet again be a pseudo-RPG. Where you choose what path you want to do, and if you want to do stealth, you'll probably end up choosing Nao or the Kunoichi. Or you choose Yasuke and be a frontline fighter. That's like my guess. And I hate that. Assassin's Creed, and even if they did it now, I don't trust them to do it right. It's Ubisoft. But ideally, and in a more ideal world, they should go back to it being an Assassin's Creed game. Like an actual stealth parkour assassination game. Not this crap it's become. The franchise turned to absolute shit after Origins. And I know a lot of people praise Origins. I haven't played it, to be fair, and maybe it is awesome and great. But I've played Odyssey. I fucking hate Odyssey. I played Valhalla. I like I'm biased, so take it for where it comes. I like the Viking aesthetic. It is fun for me. Is it accurate? Is it historically accurate? Fuck no. Vikings did not look like that. But I'm still a fan of the Viking show, and I still like that aesthetic. Even though it's a modern day depiction or rendition of what Vikings looked like when, again, they didn't look like that at all. But I like the aesthetic. And I also like the raiding mechanic and stuff. It's a semi-fun Viking simulator with terrible RPG mechanics. It still sucks. The grind in it is still horrible. But it is a guilty pleasure of mine. Valhalla is. But I can acknowledge and do acknowledge it sucks. With this Assassin's Creed game, because of all this with Yasuke and the Noao, they're still going to pull this crap. Like, again, with the... your last Assassin's Creed game was Syndicate. Hated that game. I didn't like it at all. Like, Syndicate wasn't very good. The last Assassin's Creed game I loved was Revelations, and that's because of the story, not necessarily because of the game mechanics. Although the hook blade was kind of a fun mechanic to use. And Black Flag was okay. Like, I think a lot of people praise it and say it was the last time the franchise was good. I'm going to say this, and this is going to be my most controversial Assassin's Creed take. Black Flag is bog standard Assassin's Creed on the same level as Assassin's Creed 3. The only thing that made it stand out, and to be fair, it's a big thing, is the pirating mechanic. Getting on boats, raiding ships, doing that whole thing. So, as an Assassin's Creed game, it's not really that great or impressive. It's okay. Kenway is an interesting a person. The story's okay. But what makes it great is not the Assassin's Creed elements. It's the pirating mechanic. So it's an amazing god-tier pirate game. But as an Assassin's Creed game, it's up to par. It's okay. It's good. But it's not exceptional. It didn't really do anything with that element that I thought was impressive or great. So, yeah, that's my most controversial take on Black Flag. Still love the game, but again, not because of the Assassin's Creed element. So the last time I had an amazing Assassin's Creed experience was Revelations and the wrap up of Ezio's story. Ezio was the Assassin's Creed protagonist to me. Every other protagonist has come up short. Kenway tried to be charming and interesting. He kind of was like a halfway point between Ezio and, let's say, Connor or Altair, who were more stoic but also super, super annoying with how monotone they were. Again, gameplay mechanic wise, Revelations tried a couple new things, especially with a hook blade, a couple of like the siege mechanic thing that was kind of interesting. There was stuff that Revelations still did great, both gameplay wise and narratively. But that's my cutoff point. Yeah, Black Flag was great because of the pirating stuff, but not because of the assassin stuff. But yeah, so on top of the pseudo RPG bullshit they're clearly pulling, I consider this a huge negative. The first real historical person to be playable protagonist in Assassin's Creed. The whole setup for the franchise, now to be fair, the like out of Animus story, I haven't given a shit since 2. But the in-universe explanation for like why the Animus exists, why going back in time through descendant genetic memory is necessary for Abstergo and the Templars was because there's no written history by the assassins. They didn't keep tomes. They didn't leave a trail in which the Apple of Eden and other things could be found. That was a huge thematic element to it. Part of the historical fiction aspect to it was this could have happened, not really, obviously, but that was like an immersion thing. It could have happened, but we don't know about it because it was never in written history. The Brotherhood was so good at being assassins that they hid themselves and erased themselves from history. That's why Altair isn't in any books. That's why Ezio isn't in any journals or entries or anything. The assassins were that good, to the point the Templars were forced to invent brand new technology to go through someone's genetic memory to experience their ancestors' experiences to try and figure out the secrets that Altair, Ezio, and other such figures experienced. They had to go back in time through the descendant to learn the things that's how good they were at hiding their shit. So so playing as a protagonist who is an actual historical figure that does have, granted, next to nothing you said about him, but has been noted to have existed, is way more than every other protagonist, and shows that he ain't that good of an assassin. Now, to be fair, Yasuke isn't portrayed to be an assassin in this. But that's a huge breakaway from one of the immersive themes with Abstergo, the Brotherhood, and the Animus. They destroy the Animus and put the conclusion of the modern world storyline in a comic book. To be fair, that's more effort than I expected them to put in. But, so wait, that leads me to a question. In the latest games... God, I'm being sick. So in the latest games, I guess my question is the out of Animus stuff has been completely removed? Because then there was still some of it in Valhalla when I played that. It was with a brand new lady I didn't recognize nor cared to know anything about. Have fun with Ghost of Tsushima. I'll hope in wait, what? The better Assassin's Creed Shadow. I will hope into it now as well. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been having a blast with it. I've been having a blast. Odyssey, I saw it was just a brawler with RPG leveling mechanics. Yeah. So yeah, for me, this is only a negative. It's like, okay, you're breaking that immersive idea like that. To be fair, they kind of broke that with adding like mythological monsters and stuff in some of the previous entries. So it's not like this is the biggest rip away from that, but it's yet another element of the immersiveness of Assassin's Creed that they're just kind of shooting in the kneecaps. It's like, okay, now you're playing someone who did exist in history. So this is woke DEI bullshit. I'm gonna wrap up with that. It's all crap. IGN's running defense for it. And listen, even if you're not part of the culture war arguments, even if you're not into that aspect to it, you can't deny that even if you're not into that part, that this is a huge fucking rip away from a lot of the themes and ideas Assassin's Creed has been built off of. And even if you're not into that aspect, have you guys seen the packages costs of this stuff? Hold on. Assassin's Creed Shadow Editions. Let's see, they show it here on the website. I swear, I'll end off on this. Because I saw they have like $121 edition and stuff. And do they show all three if I click this? Okay, here we are. So they have. So even if you're not into the story of Assassin's Creed, even if you're not into the woke culture war or anti-woke culture war, even if you're not into that aspect, and that doesn't piss you off, this absolutely should. So the standard edition, base game, and a pre-order bonus, $70. Gold edition, base game, pre-order bonus, season pass, and 3 days of early access. Which, by the way, I'm sick and tired of calling early access early access. It's not early access. Okay? It's fucking not. They're full of shit. It's to play it. It's to play it on actual release day. They're delaying it for everybody else who doesn't shell out the cash. That is not early access. You get to play it day one. Everybody else who doesn't have enough money gets to play it 3 days late. That's the truth of it. I'm sick and tired of calling it early access. That's not what that is. Ultimate Edition, 130 fucking bucks. All that other stuff, plus the Ultimate Pack. And let me pull up here. So this is a huge thing that I think has gone on under a lot of people's noses. So the Assassin's Creed Shadow Ultimate Pack contains the Sekiro character, Sekiru character pack included, the Hideout Pack, 5 skill points, a giant for the photo mode. Wait, hold on. Oh, there it is. Sorry, it's the pre-order bonus. Okay. So if you okay, so this is a little bit different than I thought because I thought it was locked behind one of the higher editions. But the pre-order bonus, so if you don't pre-order the game and you get it day one, you have content that is in the game that should be in the base game. You have a whole in-game quest locked out. Like, they are literally... This is beyond FOMO. Because if you don't pre-order it, they make it pretty... They make no qualms about it. Like, this is a pre-order only bonus. At least that's implied by the name. If you don't pre-order it and you buy it day one or after day one, let's say you just don't have enough money till then, you miss out on a whole quest in the game. The question is, are those physical editions? Oh, come on, Yokai. It's the modern day. These are all digital editions. These are all digital editions. These are not physical editions. And game companies at this point, you own nothing. Yeah, exactly. Like, gaming companies at this point, it's always digital. But this is a complete and utter bullshit. Welcome, Cloud. That's the only thing people should be mad about? I don't agree. But no, people cry about Assassin's Creed game being not historically accurate. Hilarious. That's part of it, but it's not just that. It's the way they're being historically inaccurate, which the series has always been. That's fair to say. However, what's the reason behind this particular historical inaccuracy? In previous games, a historical inaccuracy in the given storyline or stuff has been pretty excusable to make it more entertaining, as to make it more adventurous, or to do something, more fun with the game, to give it something interesting. It's been to go a little bit more wild. This is more than just it being historically inaccurate. On two fronts, this is an insult to Japan. Because in all previous games, despite how historically inaccurate they are, have always had a main protagonist that is based in the culture that the actual setting is in. Altair was native to his region that took place in the game. Ezio was a native to Italy. Kenway was not a native to the Caribbean, but there was a lot of Caribbean privateers, so he still fit the setting. He still fit the period, still fit the area, etc., etc., etc. Connor, he was half Native American, and he was in the colonies. That is all historically accurate in terms of the setting as part of the immersion. This is the first time not only are we playing a character who is not of the ethnicity of the region that it is all taking place in. We're playing an African man as opposed to a Japanese man, but he's also a real historical figure that they've completely gone ham with depicting him as this big epic samurai, when the clear reason behind it is not any kind of benefit to the game or to the narrative. It's for woke DEI bullshit. It's for pandering. It's for political pandering. Making him a real-world person that existed, that they're completely taking immense liberties with, and depicting him as this big epic samurai, when we have zero evidence to that, is cartoonish. Now, I agree, for gamers as a whole, this should be the biggest fucking problem. But this is no less a problem. It's a slap in the face to the Japanese. It's like, we finally, after years and years and years and years and years... By the way, people have been asking, including myself, have been demanding, begging Ubisoft for a Japanese Ninja Shinobi Brotherhood-based Assassin's Creed game. Since Assassin's Creed 2, people have been begging for this shit. We finally get it, and not only is one of the main protagonists not native to the region and is an actual historical figure, not only that, but also it's a pseudo-RPG, not the stealth assassination game that we always wanted. Not only those two things, but they're also nickel and diming and monetizing the shit out of it. And, like, on every level, doesn't matter how you look at this game, doesn't matter what angle you approach Assassin's Creed Shadow. Whether it's from the culture war aspect, whether it's from a financial standpoint with these fucking additions, everything about this game is shit. Complete and utter shit. From every fucking angle. Like, there is no angle of approach to Assassin's Creed Shadow that is good or interesting. Unless you're a woke nutjob. That's the only people who are going to approach this with any level of something pandering to them. And the ironic thing is, most of them, because they're such political-minded people, they're not going to get the fucking game. So, yeah, that's my takes on the Assassin's Creed Shadow stuff. From every angle, it's utter shit. It's from Ubi shit, so shouldn't be surprising. They haven't made a good Assassin's Creed game since, again, in my opinion, Revelations. Black Flag was a great game, but not because of the Assassin's Creed element. It's because of the pirating element. Yeah, so I that was a much longer rant than I intended, but that's my take on the Assassin's Creed BS. It is terrible from every fucking front. Astartes, welcome to stream. Bro, the Ghost in Assassin's Creed Odyssey knockoff. It's so boring. The world is static and empty. Boring. No woke shit, yet boring. I don't agree. I mean, I've been having a blast. I've already got 10 hours in the game. And I haven't progressed much of the main story yet. I'm almost through Act 1. But I've been doing a lot of side quests. And I've been having a fucking blast, so... If you find this boring, I'm sorry, but I don't consider you of good taste. Oh my god, this game that is actually atmospheric, fun, and immersive, has great combat, great mechanics. Boring! Okay, Zoomer. Go to TikTok, I guess? Have a blast? What makes you excited for it? Ghost of Tsushima or something else? Ghost of Tsushima, I have a blast with pretty much every element so far. I really love the open world quests so far. The stories have been fun and interesting. I do like a lot of the side mechanics, like the Fox Den, and a lot of side mechanics actually serve something other than just being a distraction. They actually upgrade your character, give you bonuses. You got the kind of like the tower climbing mechanic with the shrines. I guess it's more of a question of what I don't find interesting, because pretty much everything in this game so far has been a blast on some level. So, I again like go to TikTok, my man. If you need like that instant gratification shit, like I'm fine with a slow burn. And it's not even been a slow burn for me. Hey, welcome stream. I mean, to me, it's oh, did I read that? Yeah, I did. My bad. Well, welcome. Nostalgia Vivek, welcome to stream. Honestly, even comparing it to that shit heap that even dares call itself AC is borderline criminal. I agree. Says, I mean, no offense, it's just my personal feeling, like loot system, right? There is nothing to be excited for to search for. Okay, so you're a looter guy. Okay, so I think I see the issue. Then this game isn't really for you, to be fair. So I'd say that this game just isn't for you then, man. Like, taking away that statement for what it is, it sounds like you're more of a looter shooter RPG guy. Like, you're more into that kind of aspect. You like new gear, you like a lot of like in this game the gear is mostly aesthetic. At least for the most part. Like your gear does have active effects and stuff and bonuses for what you wear. For example, the Ronin's good at like reducing detection. Most of like the in-world grinding isn't to find gear as much as it is to find some aesthetic stuff and materials in which to upgrade the gear you get from quests. So its RPG elements are much lesser. So if you're more of a looter person, like you need like I need like a game like Borderlands, right? You need a game that has like 3 billion gun modifications and options. You need like 5,000 different armor sets and combinations. If you're that kind of person, Ghost of Tsushima is not for you, which is fine. Like if that's not your thing, it's fine. I highly recommend Warframe. If you have not played Warframe, Astartes, go play Warframe. It is such a good game. It's like the ultimate looter shooter, and it's got so many gun options. It's free to play as well. Like that is the game for you, my man. If you're more in for a game with a lot of atmosphere, that's more about skill with like the mechanics, like swordplay, more passive upgrades, more of like a light RPG game like this. Yeah, this probably isn't for you if you're like into like the big looter shooter type thing. Warframe is a learning curve, but once you get in, you're in. Oh yeah, true. I have over 700 hours in that game now. But yeah, if you're the kind of person who needs like that active, like every like 30 feet, I should find a new armor set. Every 40 feet, I should find a new gun and sidearm, or new blade and knife, and like these big epic trick weapons. If you're that kind of person, I mean, I have a dozen games I could recommend. Like Warframe's a good start. Monster Hunter World is a pretty good option as well if you like the grind for the weapons. Borderlands, not 3, 2. Borderlands 2. 3, I really don't like. But Borderlands 2 is probably like the ultimate experience for like the gun nuttery and like the random combinations you get in that game. But in Ghost of Tsushima, I mean, as far as I know, there's only like one sword set, and then you really just find different like skins and stuff for it as you go on the open world. This game's definitely more for people who are into atmosphere. The story, I think, is actually quite entertaining. So, if you're into Kurosawa films and like that more traditional Japanese kind of storytelling, yeah, I'd say this game's for you on that front. And if you're in for a game that's less about like big epic like slaughter battles, this game's definitely more for that angle. So yeah, like I said, like it sounds like it's just not for you, man. But I love the hell out of this game. Like as it is, again, I have only 10 hours in, and I have not gotten bored once. And I've barely touched the main story. I've just been doing the open world stuff. I've done a lot of fox dens. I found a lot of camps. Done a bunch of shrines. And yeah, I don't get bored personally. But I'm also of an like. Nah, that's probably not the way to put it. Though I am in my mid-20s, I am of like a older mindset, if that makes sense, with how like what games I enjoy. I don't need, and I'm also a D&D guy, so I'm fine with a game with a lot of dialogue, a lot of build-up, a lot of narrative, and not a shit ton of action every 5 feet. Like, don't get me wrong, I love action-packed games like Doom 2016, fucking love that game. I love Warframe. That's a super action-packed game with a lot of fighting and huge epic vistas and mechanics. I like Borderlands. I like a lot of games with a lot of constant, you know, action. Like, constant, like, boom, 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 boom. Shit just kind of thrown at you. But for me, I could literally put my character right here and just look at this. And I'm chill. Like, the music is nice and calming. I really love, are there camera options? It looks like the camera is off-centered here. Is it possible to make it centered? Well, it's not. It is off-centered a little bit. As far as I haven't played with it, so I don't know. Photo mode. I know it's Kurosawa mode, but that's like black and white. Shoot master cutscenes, hide boo, and quiver. HUD style, standard. Training ships. I don't. My thing is, I don't think so. I think it's as far as I've played, it's kind of pretty much universally puts you to the side and off centers you. It does. The camera does shift depending on what you're doing. But for the most part, this is kind of like let me see if I can get into combat here. Because I know the camera shifts pretty rapidly once you're in combat. But it does tend to keep you off-center. I don't know what that kind of third person is called. I know it has a specific term. But whatever the term is, it's the kind of third person where you are always off-center. It doesn't center you. It's not like an MMORPG, right? Where like your character's dead in the center of the screen. And my biggest issue is the camera's too low most of the time in this game. I haven't seen an adjustable slider for that, but I've gotten used to it, so it doesn't bother me. But I can see why it would be an off-put for a lot of people. Yeah, let me see if I can get into combat, because I know the camera shifts slightly when you're in combat. So he says, no, I'm not like that. I mean, there is nothing special in the hidden items, nothing new to find. It's all the same. I'm sorry if I sound like a looter. I like the storytelling of old movies. Okay, well, I guess then I just have to disagree. Because outside of like the looter explanation, I'm not sure what to tell you. I like the aesthetics. I like a lot of the stuff I've found so far. I mean, if I had to give like a complaint, and I don't know if it like I'm only 10 hours in, so maybe it changes. My only complaint is the only main weapon you get is the sword and Tanto. I love the katana, don't be wrong, but it would be cool if we could, you know, use a spear or other ninja weapons as like a prime, like the claw thing. I don't know if that's historically accurate or not, but you know, it would be cool to try out like different weapon combos as your primary weapon. But the game gives you plenty of variety in other things. Like, it gives you the bow, and there's going to be other bows as far as I understand it. Yeah, because like it's selectable. And also, you have like the ninja weapons techniques. Go here, like your ghost weapons. So it gives you plenty of variety there as well. So it's enough for me, but I guess on its fundament though, I just have to disagree. I definitely get the vibe that this is a game you don't play for 600 plus hours. This is the type of game you play for, my guess is going to be like 100 hours to 120 tops. Like, you either play it as a completionist and you do absolutely everything, or you play it to get through the story and have fun combat experiences, which will probably be about 40 to 50 hours, is my guess. I don't know, though. Like, the game is split into, like, 3 regions. So I'm not sure how much story is in those ones, but... So far, anyway. I've been having a blast. Yeah, the camera's a pain too. I just doesn't care to rotate along. Yeah. I mean, it was more annoying when the game first started, but as I got used to it, I'm fine. But yeah, I can understand that being a complaint. Chrome Joe, that is unfortunate. The game looked cool, but off-center camera is a deal breaker for me. Oh well. Ah, sorry to hear that, man. I can understand that. Especially with video games, right? They're very visual, so if the visual just drives... Oh, combat. There we go. Alright. You're about to die. Alright, we want to use water style. See if I can perfect parry him. There we go. Yeah, so in combat it does center you a lot more. But yeah, like when you're just traveling around, it off centers you. Alright, let me free you. Oh. Mercy kill. Hey Siege, welcome to stream. This seems to be a game that doesn't want you to fart about for very long with min-maxing. So far, yeah, I'd say that's a fair takeaway. The game wants you to experience the atmosphere, the story. It definitely wants to be a fun combat game, and it is fun to me. I really like the precision combat. I like the mechanics. So I do enjoy it quite a bit. You almost got away to survive another Shadow of Mordor encounter. Alright. Hold on, let me... Oh wait, can I upgrade my bow again? I want to do that real quick. I know I was just there, but I want... I've been actually trying to upgrade my bow. So... Hello, boy. I need you to upgrade my bow. Yay. But yeah, I can understand the camera being, like, that's just a fundamental one for, like, any video game, right? It's so... Video games are so visual that if something, like, really ticks you off about, like, the constant, like, camera position, that's kind of a fundamental breaking point for a lot of people. I can totally get that. Mechanically, I'll argue all day, though. Like, I'll definitely argue that all day. Mechanically, I'd argue that this game is very, very good. Again, my biggest complaint so far comes in just, like, I wish there was more than just the samurai sword. And the tanto. That's my biggest complaint. And the fact that that is my only real complaint says a lot. Like, I'm not really into a lot of open world RPGs lately. Like, a lot of them have been really subpar. But this one, and, like, a couple others I can think of, have been kind of accepted. The other two I can think of are, like, indie games, though. And they're survival crafting. Like, V Rising. Like, I really love that game. But this game is, like, one of the only... To be fair, this game came out in 2020, right? Like, the original game did, anyway. So, it's a 4-year-old game now. But a lot of open world RPGs or pseudo RPGs lately have just been unimpressive to me. Like they feel really subpar. But this game, I don't know. It's been kind of an exception so far. While I've been sick, it's been definitely fun to play. It's kept me pretty entertained, and I've been enjoying it. Yeah, typical samurai. Yeah, this was one of my cooler armor sets I currently possess. I'll switch back to the Ronin one though, because I want to travel around and be that typical protagonist from like every wuxia flick. Bombander Asmogan, just wondering if you have a Discord or a way of 40k exiles like myself to congregate online. I stopped going to the GW shops in Japan after FM started BS. I mean, fair enough, man. Let me see. I have a public Discord, which is a gaming Discord for like my gaming channel. Not a lot of the 40k folks are there. I do have a 40k specific community channel, but it's private. Like I don't let a lot of people on there for security. Like I've had a couple bad experiences with just having it as an open Discord, so I closed it. But I still occasionally let new people in. Not that I want you to like feel like you have to do this, but the only way to like get on it right now without me vetting you is like via the Patreon. Like I have a Patreon that just links to it. But if you want to get on there and just want to hang out and be part of the community, I'd say join my public Discord or join the call line Discord anyway. Hold on, I'll link it. Let me link it in the chat. But I have... so this is a link to the call line Discord, which I use for my open mics. Let me put it in. Boom. Okay, so it's in the description now. So you might have to refresh the stream page to see it, but that's the call line Discord. DM me from the call line Discord, and I will vet you. I'll ask you a couple questions, you know, see if you're on the up and up. And assuming you are, like you seem like you are, I've seen you on here a couple times, Bomb Man. You seem pretty cool. So yeah, I'll just, you know, after the stream, right before I go to work, I'll ask you a couple questions, go you through a process with you, and if everything feels on the up and up, I'll let you in. But yeah, I'm very, very selective of who I let in my personal Discord with my friends, because I had enough bad experience. Not even necessarily just with Awoke. I've had enough bad experiences generally with just letting people come in, and one of those being we had a younger guy come in. He was like 17, and the guy was depressed, like 24/7, edgy. Life is horrible. Nothing ever works. And no matter what we said to him, it was every day. It was every goddamn day. Like, holy crap. Like, I know when like you're younger, like a lot of that stuff overwhelms you, especially with the hormones raging, right? And you... But one of the first like social lessons we all gotta learn is it's okay to go to your friends when you're down and out, but when you're always down and out, they get tired of it. It's overexposure. So... I don't know. It led to a lot of confrontation, a lot of fighting, and eventually I had to kick him. Then he snuck back in to see if we were talking shit about him, which we were, rightfully so. And I called him out for it. But that's a whole story in and of itself. Point is, it's long history, but I've learned my lesson of having an open door policy. I vet people who come in, and one of the first rules I have now when I let someone in is you have to be over 18. Excuse me. Kasudi seems to be dead as a faction game-wise, by the way. Yeah. Rules-wise, I saw the new rules suck. So even if you ignored the woke stuff, it's so bad. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. I'm not gonna lie, like, I struggle to look into... I struggle to look in on 40K at the moment. Because every time I checked in on it, it's A, getting worse, community-wise. And it's been getting worse for years. But, you know, due to the whole, like, knowing that it's been... keep in mind, I'm still not quitting 40K, but it's a little more tiring to look in on it and check on the newest updates. I still find enjoyment, like, listening to the audiobooks while I'm at work. Like, I restarted the Horus Heresy series yet again. Like, I'm on the second book, and I'm kind of just vibing at work. So I still love 40K from, like, the old stuff, but checking in on the latest updates, it's for me, it's just... I hate it. Like, that feeling of, like, going to check on, like, the latest video, the latest stream from GW, I'm just like... like, I don't know how to put that feeling into words other than macabre. Like, that heavy feeling of just shit. It's like, I don't want to be doing this right now. Like, I hate that feeling, but it happens every goddamn day. I think about checking in. And then I will probably just watch you play it. This game just doesn't tickle my suspension of disbelief. Yeah, that's fine, man. And if you just want to watch, and I appreciate the viewership, thank you. And plus, good conversation is always still good. Still very good. Alright, I think I kind of want to explore over here, but I think I'll do that. I'll do that later. So let me hop over here. Alright. Actually, let me save some traveling time here. We'll bump over there. You have a bitter taste in your mouth from the cherry over GW? No, I get you, man. I get why a lot of people are leaving from that angle. Is like it. For me, I'm able to separate the new stuff from the old, though, so I can still stick around 40K for my traditional love of it. I do think of my excitement or enjoyment for anything new in terms of announcements is dead at this point. Actually, let me check out that. What do you guys usually do on Discord? Mostly just chat. It's like a community hub. I don't know if you're asking from the angle of someone who doesn't use Discord, or are you asking from the angle of, like, what specifically does my community do? But generally, assuming you're talking about Discord in general, Discord's just literally like it's like private servers, although very rarely are they private these days. But there's servers of people, you jump in, there's a bunch of text chats, voice chats, if you guys want to, you know, link up and you just want to talk over mic and stuff while you play games, or if you just want to chill and vibe. You can also use it to stream your screen, and you can watch movies together, do a bunch of stuff. It's communities. Like, it's little communities to hang out with online folks that you can't hang out with in person. No, PSN isn't required? Nope, it's not required. I was actually wondering why nobody... Well, if somebody asked me that earlier, I missed it. But yeah, you don't need PSN. I don't have a PSN account, and I'm able to play. That's actually one thing that was kind of interesting with the narrative around this game before it came out, is a lot of people were like, "This, like, gamers are pretty fickle, aren't they? Nobody's complaining about Ghost of Tsushima's required PSN account." The difference is, you don't need a PSN account to play Ghost of Tsushima. The PSN account is only if you want to do multiplayer. If you want to do the online stuff, you can link your PSN account, but it's optional. You can choose to ignore it. The game does ask you when you first open it. Sorry. The game does ask you when you first open it, hey, do you want to link your PSN account? Here's what you gain access to if you do. If you don't gain access to this. And you can simply just, on keyboard and mouse, it said, I hit escape, and it gives you the option, just hold escape to ignore or pass it, and you can play the whole base game without it. And it doesn't lock you out of any of the cooler modes, like, well, let's do this real quick. Let me go to title screen to share this. I'll show you it real quick. But yeah, that's been a big. I'll call it this. It's a false narrative. But yeah, like pretty much the whole game you can play. It's just multiplayer that you don't have access to if you don't get PSN. But as I said, like I don't know if you guys could see it, but a little sign-in screen popped up just now, and it's like, please put in your email and everything because I don't have one. I simply click save, and I could play the rest of the game. No problem. Like, this is only for multiplayer. I can do Legends mode. I can do Kurosawa mode. I can play the whole base game. I get New Game Plus. The whole game you get, and you don't need to use PSN. So it's not the same as the Helldivers 2 situation, which a lot of people were pushing, which was kind of annoying. But yeah, I opened up the game and ta-da! I was able to move right past it. New Warhammer is dead, so what do you usually do in Discord? Yeah, it's a hangout session, you know. My particular server, we share a lot of memes. We chat about our days, you know, and hang out. It's a community server. We do occasionally, like if someone's struggling, like mentally, we all chat with them and hang out. Like, we also share our miniatures and pictures and stuff, and yeah. So Discord's just a community hub, that kind of thing. So it's mostly text chats, but you can create and alter it as you see fit. That's kind of the fun part of it. It's like a way more epically advanced TeamSpeak from back in the day, if you know what that is. Yeah, two different issues completely. Yep. So, and to be fair, I think a lot of the people who were pushing that whole narrative didn't realize this. Didn't realize that you can play Ghost of Tsushima without giving your PSN. Like, that's my charitability speaking. I do think that's the circumstance, and I think people just didn't look into it enough. But yeah, you can play the whole game without giving your PSN. And plus, it's a single player game, really, like in terms of its design and its purpose. So, not being able to access the multiplayer in this is like not being able to access the multiplayer in Solitaire. You know, like, what do you lose? Nothing. So, yeah. So, I'm not shitting on the people who were getting kind of pissy about the PSN thing with Ghost of Tsushima. Because, again, I think a lot of them were fresh off the Helldivers 2 frustration and didn't look into it and didn't realize that it's not the same circumstance here. So, to be fair to those folks. And plus, also the games themselves are wickedly different. Helldivers 2 PSN requirement was also because the whole game is multiplayer. So, to be locked out of that and not be able to do multiplayer, you can't play the game. Like, period. This is a single-player game. Straight up, it's a single-player game. Like, the multiplayer, as far as I know, is just a co-op. Was this the mystery? Oh, okay, it was a camp. Yeah. Supplies. Okay. I'll do the Legend of Tadayori. Because apparently I get an armor set if I do that. Oh yeah, a little bit of a quick thing. There, in this game, there are like 3 types of quests. The first is obviously main story quests. They're the golden ones, like the Broken Blacksmith. This is the part of the main story. Then there's the active tales. Active tales are like side quests, and I've done more than it shows here. Like there's 4 listed here, but I've done like 7 or 8. Excuse me. And then there's Mythic Tales. Mythic Tales are how you get like the cool stuff. Like the powerful armor sets, the unique looking aesthetics. Also new abilities. Like I finished 1 already, and I gained access to like a special kill thing. It's called the Heavenly Slash or something. Yeah, they're kind of like the more epic missions to do. Yeah, you get Tadayori's armor. So let me head over there. Sashimono. Kind of illegal in the EU? Oh, it absolutely is. Like, what Sony pulled there, like, let's be honest, the real reason that they pulled out, part of it, the reason they did it so quickly was because of the backlash, but the fundamental reason why Sony had to pull out of mandatory PSN for Helldivers 2, we all know it's because of the legal, like, they were gonna get sued. Like, it was a, like, the tidal wave of bullshit that they were gonna have to suffer. Yeah, no way. They needed to back out of that legally. Oh, by the way, this game does have English dub. I selected Japanese dub because of immersion. But I am streaming, so if it does bother you guys, let me know and I'll switch it to English. What's my opinion about Age of Sigmar? Okay. Don't get mad at me, because... Well, I can't tell you not to do that. Let me put it this way. I'll let this play before I answer. That way, because I might miss important information here. Well, thank you, Magnus Lord. I think, honestly, I don't care what the game says. I came here to hear what you say. I'm gonna feel flattered by that. I'll go with flattered. I wasn't sure how to react to that. Like, I was like, do I take that as a flatterment, or do I take that as a disinterest in the topic of the stream? But thank you very much. I appreciate it. My opinion about Age of Sigmar, not a huge fan. Now, if the question also pertains to fantasy, keep in mind where it comes from, okay? This is very important for me to denote, right? I am a 40k guy, okay? If it wasn't obvious. Like, 40k is my shtick. Like, I love 40k. That has been my passion since I was in high school. Like, I love 40k. I love sci-fi. I love that kind of aesthetic. Not to say I don't like fantasy in any form. I love Lord of the Rings. I liked Game of Thrones before it went to shit. You know, I do like fantasy. Not as much as sci-fi, though. Sci-fi is my thing. That's where I stem the most love for an aesthetic. So, with that little primer in there, fantasy, like, I like fantasy. I like Warhammer Fantasy, from what I know of it. And then mostly I've learned about that from word to mouth from the older crowd in the 40k community I've spoken to who were fans of Warhammer Fantasy Battles. But Age of Sigmar, from what I have learned of it, and I have learned of it from both the people who were Warhammer Fantasy Battles fans and hated it, and from the people who are currently fans of Age of Sigmar and weren't as much of a fan, or they still were, but they like Age of Sigmar just as much, of Warhammer Fantasy Battles. From what I know of it, I don't really like it. Like, Age of Sigmar just doesn't speak to me in any way, aesthetically. Like, that, like, I've looked at all the factions previously, just browsing Warhammer's store before. I find the naming scheme of a lot of them confusing. Like, it isn't just dwarves, undead, you know, that kind of thing. It's like armies of chaos, armies of something, armies of this. Like, just like the naming schemes are all weird. The actual aesthetic is very weird. I really hate the poster boys of Age of Sigmar aesthetically. I like what are they called? Stormcast Eternals? I think that's what they're called. Stormcast Eternals. I'm really not a fan of them either. Like, honestly, with coming from where it comes from, not knowing that much about AOS or Warhammer Fantasy battles on a fundamental level, just based on gut opinion, based on aesthetics, and from what little I've been told, meh is, I guess, like the response I have. I don't hate it. Like, I would need to know more about it to hate it, right? Like, for all I know, like, if I really delved into it, if I really got into it, maybe it would speak to me. But it just doesn't. Like, AOS's aesthetic is, like, some of it's over-designed, but for the most part, it just feels out of place. Again, the Stormcast Eternals are the first, like, they're the poster boys of AOS, and they look ugly. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, I think they look ugly. Like, their armor aesthetic is horrid. And I'm not a fan. Like, they look so doofy. They look like an enemy NPC in, like, a given expansion of WoW I'd kill, like, en masse. They don't look like an epic faction like the Space Marines do for 40k. And I'm not saying that's what they're trying to be. I've heard people call them Sigmarines. I'll call them what they are, Stormcast Eternals, but they just do not speak to me at fucking all. I looked at the dwarves. Normally dwarves get me a lot in a lot of fandom. Like, I love dwarves. But I looked at the dwarf faction for AOS, and there's like a lot of steampunk elements to them, which that's pretty dwarven for a lot of fantasies, but if anything, that just made it feel more generic. If I look at the dwarves in like Total War, Warhammer, like any of them, they speak to me. They got those like runic designs. My nose is getting stuffy. Like, they look like dwarves, and they feel like dwarves, and that makes them a little bit more epic. Like, it feels like playing Lord of the Rings dwarves with, like, a little bit more of, like, obviously the grimdark chic. So that's why I like those dwarves. But the AOS dwarves, they just look odd. Like I don't like that hyper emphasis on steampunk technology for dwarves. I like the more gruff, heavy armor. Like, I like them having advanced weapons and armor in terms of, like, you know, forging and, like, their technique and their skill. Like, they're really rough and gruff. I don't like the technological level that they're in AOS. Again, take it from where it comes. Yeah, like, I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan of AOS. I'm not going to sit here and say it's bad or objectively shit or anything like that. All I can really say with confidence is nothing other than, like, the Skaven interest or draw me in on any level. So, AOS setting made no sense. Old Warhammer was Earth with magic, but AOS was not on globe worlds. It is realms and chaos without logic. And I'll take your word for it. Again, I don't know. Skaven were fun in Warhammer Fantasy battles. Yeah, from what I heard, yeah. I mean, before the GW blow up with the Custodes crap and my current boycott, this was like one of the last boxes I recently got. It's the Clan Rats box. Because a lot of my AOS friends, like I have a couple over on the Discord, they're really cool guys. I love them to death. And they really like hype it up. They're like, listen, Age of Sigmar is really, really good. You should try it. And again, I'm not going to sit here and tell them it's not. And I can tell you, though, definitively, it doesn't look as cool to me as 40k. The only thing that speaks to me aesthetically at all from AOS is Skaven. But, again, I don't want to start nothing with that, because I'm not confident with my knowledge of AOS. So, hopefully that's a satisfying response, but I gotta say where it's coming from, man. Yeah, looking at the old Warhammer Fantasy Battles minis and stuff, though, those A lot of those definitely spoke to me. Like, I really like the old dwarven, like, battle lines and stuff. That's why I recently also got some one-page rules models for dwarves on, like, the square bases and stuff for regimentation. They just look really cool. Especially with, like the stone golem and stuff. It just looks awesome. Alright. Oh, damn, I have to go a bit of a distance here. Alright, before I do, I think I see a few bandits over there. Did you ever look into Warzone? I like the lore, but they got... Oh, for a second there, I thought you were asking me about Call of Duty Warzone. I did look into it. It looked okay. I guess a similar problem with AOS, though, didn't really catch me. But from what I looked into Warzone, it definitely looked more interesting than AOS, though. Like, core AOS, I should say. Okay, good. She's still alive. For a second, I thought they killed her. But, I like the lore, but they got blocked by 40k being bigger, and they were trying to restart now. Are they trying to restart now? Oh, okay. I didn't know that, actually. Hold on, let me look that up real quick. Warzone, tabletop game. I love how the first thing that comes... Of course the first thing that comes up is fucking Call of Duty. Fuck you, Call of Duty. Tabletop war game. How about that? There we go. Yeah. So similar to AOS for me, like some of the aesthetics of this don't appeal to me, but some, to be fair, definitely more so than AOS. It looked more interesting. With my sci-fi bias that comes in. What's the name? I can't remember the name of the unit, but there's like a unit in Warzone that it's kind of like a dreadnought. Not as big as a dreadnought, but it's like this hunky like robot thing with like a Gatling arm. I can't remember what it's called though. But I remember that being something that did like catch me. I'm like, oh, I really love the look of that. In a similar way, when I first saw like a box dread from 40k, I was like, damn. Yeah. But if they're trying to restart now, that might be a good time. I mean, especially with 40k going under like it is. That's a smart move. Like, that's the thing. With 40k's recent moves and decisions, they have done so much for their competitors. More than their competitors ever could with $1 million. Like, GW, you slide dogs. Trying to help out the rest of the wargaming community by making yourselves absolutely unappealing. I hate the current dread design. The Primaris dreads, oh yeah. One of the biggest, before the Custodes thing, one of the biggest disappointments since Primaris was the announcement that they were decommissioning the box dreads. I fucking, like, if you look on my channel, for anyone who's newly subscribed, I made a whole video about how fucking mad I was about that. Like, I was so pissed. I'm still pissed. Like, that nearly got me to quit 40k for a while. Like, I really hated that. I'll do another standoff. I need the XP. Love the classic rhinos, hate the Primaris tanks. I hate most of the Primaris stuff. Like, aesthetically, it looks ugly as shit. And I hate how buffed up their stats are. It's stupid. Alright. How far are we away? Probably should clear up this particular hill. Everything Primaris erases the identity of the firstborn aesthetic. It does. And the thing is, for the longest time, what was that cope that so many people had? Like, the big cope with Primaris when they were first announced, and they held onto it for years. A lot of people were like, well, you know, Primaris aren't going to be replacing Firstborn Marines. Like, are you nuts? Like, that's not what they're doing. Like Primaris are cool, guys. But they're not going to replace Firstborns. And to be fair, for the longest time, looked like they were right. Like, for years, GW just kept producing both alongside each other, supporting rules alongside each other for several editions. Except towards the tail end of 9th, they finally were like, alright, we feel safe now pulling the rug. I'm now convinced that the reason that they didn't immediately pull Firstborns is because people were like, this is clearly an attempt to replace the Firstborn Marines with your new models for copyright reasons and a bunch of other stuff. And GW were like, no, we're not doing that. We're not going to be replacing Firstborn Marines. What happened only a couple months ago? Oh yeah, we're retiring, like, all the Firstborn kits except for Tactical Marines. And, like, a handful of others. But, like, everything, like, box dreads are now dead. Like, most of the freaking kits. Like, it's, all that's left for supported kits by GW is the Tactical Marines. And I think, like, 2 other box sets. Every other Firstborn kit has been discontinued. Oh, here's a question for the chat, and I'll answer it first. For me, anyway. What's the ugliest kit amongst the Space Marines? And if you say Centurions, you fucking cop-outs. For me, it's the Infiltrators. The Infiltrator box set. I fucking hate those models. They're ugly as shit. I'm still kind of mad that in the 10th edition trailer, one of the main, like, guys they show off in it is an Infiltrator. And I guess to kind of show what I mean. These guys are so goddamn ugly. Like, it's not that the kit, like, the sculpts are, like, hideous or something. It's like they weren't artistically done well. No, the design is fucking ugly. I really fucking hate how these guys look. I hate them more than Centurions. I hate these guys. The pauldrons in particular. You have one solid pauldron and then not on the other side. It's this weird, awkward as hell helmet. The freaking, like, antenna on every goddamn. Like, I hate these guys. So they're so ugly. Infiltrators are ugly. This is a terrible design. I fucking hate it. Whoever came up with it. Also, they subvert, like, Scout Marines and stuff. I'm gonna cut myself off. I'm gonna rant. That's some COD. Oh, shut up. I fucking hate this design. It is an ugly design. Fuck the Infiltrators. Whoever added that, whoever did it, fired. Like, fired on spot. I'm gonna turn up a little bit because the game's a little bit quiet. There we go. Oh, whoops, I gotta turn around. That's where it says Centurions. Thank you. Like, that's a constant argument I've had, is like, people are like, oh, Centurions are the ugly Space Marine model. It's like, fuck you. No, they're not. Infiltrators are fucking ugly. I'll ignore this standoff. I'll let them fight each other. I am on a mission. Alright, search for violet flowers. Violet flowers. I forget that's an instant stun. Oh shit, that's my horse. Can I heal you? I don't think I can heal my horse. Okay, let's look. I'll do it on foot. Let me look for the fucking flowers. Look at the flowers, Teddy. They're so pretty. Not Teddy. Of Mice and Men. Fuck, what was the big guy's name? Eddie? Was it Eddie? George, Lenny? Lenny! That was it. Thank you. Look at the flowers, Lenny. For anyone who wants to read a book that might scar you for life. I'm assuming that's the right flower? Actually, I don't know. Well, hold on. Oh, violet's more of a purple color, so... That would be this over here, methinks. Chrysanthemums. Alright. ここが冠。忠頼の鎧があるはず。こうだ。まだ新しい。中に何かあるようだ。忠頼のいおりへの地図。Okay. So, is that a road or a river? I think that's a road. Wait, how? This is a legend, right? So the map must be really old. So, what if? Crazy thought. What if the notable the map iconography wasn't applicable anymore? Like, let's say that building got burnt down, or that river or road got filled in, or whatever. And also doesn't help. Alright, so presuming like we're right here, we're at the bottom of the map. So, because that's what this like little statue is. And we're looking at going this direction. Alright. Whoops. I forgot. The fall damage in this is pretty harsh. Perhaps don't jump down like a maniac. Alright, so using the map, Presuming it's actually being helpful, and it's showing case like, okay, so if the statue's facing this direction, which means we have to go in the direction it's opposing that what it's facing, which is this direction. God, I hit a harsh that fucking day. Fall damages. Interceptors are the ugliest Primaris with their... with their ugliest Primaris with their flight boots and strange guns. Oh yeah, I fucking hate infiltrators. As a model, they suck, and as an aesthetic, they suck. Like, I don't know what they were thinking with that design. It looks so bad to me. I'm looking forward to playing this game myself. I'm not a fan of Asian fantasy games, but this looks great. I mean, it's still fantasy. It's like a Kurosawa film, but it's more historical than it is like anime wuxia. Trying to parry him. Thing is, you have to... There it is. You have to do it, time it for when they... Right when they're about to hit you. Perfect parries are fun to do, but you have to be really good at them. Okay. Oh shit, I'm turning around. Okay, hopefully... I'm going the right way here. Alright, so I'm thinking that that's the river. But yeah. I really like Ghost of Tsushima, personally. Like, I wasn't expecting I'd like it as much as I have. But the aesthetic, like... It's really atmospheric. The combat is really fun. And once you get it down, or get the essentials down to it. Plus the stealth element to it. Like, if you choose to play this game as a shinobi, it's a lot of fun. I'm pretty good at timing the standoffs. I'm not great at timing the parries. Trying to see if I can perfect parry this. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, normally I'm pretty awful at timing those. I got you. I got you. You will eat your Ubisoft slop and like it. And like, fuck you. No, I won't. I don't need to. If you like the aesthetics of this game, I'd highly recommend you check out the Shogun TV series. I've thought about it. I might actually do that. One question I've had, like, as a content creator, and this is kind of the annoying part about being a content creator, is a lot of the time when, like, you decide to, like, do stuff, you do have to put it through the lens of, like, okay, should I also do this for content, though? And that can most of the time, because, you know, I'm not really hyper content brained. Like, if you guys have seen my upload schedule, you know that's the case. So I still do occasionally think to myself, though, like with the Fallout TV show, I've been filming a EFAP style, like, sit down with my buddies on Discord and we just kind of shoot the shit while we watch through it and react to it. I've tried to upload the first reaction of us watching it, though, which isn't even the whole episode. It's only half the episode, but somehow YouTube keeps blocking it, and it's fucking infuriating. Like, we watched 30 minutes of the damn show, and the reaction to that first half is 2 hours long, because we keep pausing it and talking over it. And despite the fact that I've put filters on it, I've edited the audio, I've zoomed in, I've mirrored it, I've done so much, YouTube is like, no, you can't upload this. This will be blocked worldwide. But the reason I say that, though, is like, with the Shogun series, I've been thinking about watching it. But I've been thinking about watching it. Is like, okay, the question remains, do I watch it and react to it? Like, I don't want to be a reaction channel, though. Like, if I do react to it, I want to have something, like, good for feedback. So if I sit there, watch it, and give commentary over it, I don't know, like, that's been a debate in my head for, like, just initially, on the idea of, like, checking it out. Oh, crap. I'm off trail. Or technically, I'm on trail. I'm off track. But, yeah, I've been thinking about it. Probably what will end up happening is I'll end up just watching it, like, on my own time. And if I watch it and it's good enough and, like, really catches me, I'll probably make a single video after having watched it. Yeah. Thank you. No idea how Mahler does it exactly. I don't know how he does it either. Like, again, we did EFAP style. Like, we're in a, like, all 6 of us were watching it, and we all had commentary throughout it, and we turned half an episode of episode 1 of Fallout, the Fallout TV show, into this super long video. I've edited it, and somehow, despite numerous, like, things I could think of to, like, trick the copyright bot, it still is, like, I've tried to upload it 7 times, each time with a more aggressive, like, filter, or shift, or, like, or fade in and fade out, and it still keeps getting blocked worldwide. Like, I don't know what to do. And again, it's not even the whole episode. Like, I could kind of get it if it was getting blocked, if it was, like, the whole episode and it was barely edited. But I've cut it down. Like, it's nowhere near... legally, it is as fair use gets. Yet it keeps getting fucking blocked. And because I can't upload that one, I can't upload the second episode, I can't upload any of our other reactions and stuff, and my hard drive only has so much space, so I really need to get that one uploaded, past the copyright bot, so I can delete the original file, because it's a lot of space on my hard drive, so I can start me and my buds can sit down and keep watching more episodes. So, as it stands right now, my plan is to try 1 or 2 other filters. And if those don't work, I'm probably just going to cancel doing that EFAP style reaction thing. And just watch all of it with my friends. Watch all of it again the second time solo without their, you know, feedback. And then probably make a single video reviewing it. I wait on Shogun series just because I do not want them to pull a bait and switch in later seasons. I mean... Huh. I guess that kind of speaks to, like, the Game of Thrones thing, right? It's like, you watch 7 seasons, the first 5 seasons, 4 or 5 seasons, are, like, great. And then everything after they stopped referencing the books was shit. And it went downhill. And there was the huge disappointment of Season 8. Season 8 was utter dog shit. And then the whole question after that series wrapped up was like, okay, do we still love and praise those first 5 seasons, or do we have a final judgment of the series based on how it ends? So let's say Shogun Season 1 is absolutely perfect, and then in later seasons they completely bungle it and ruin it like Game of Thrones did. Does that mean Season 1 is no longer good or worth watching? I think this is a question of, it depends on the type of person you are. For me, I'm able to enjoy, like, the individual season. I'm not going to say it doesn't disappoint me, you know, that the series go to shit. And that does sour the taste of those earlier seasons and earlier experience. Like Vikings, for example. I love that show. It's not, aesthetically, it's horrible for, like, how Vikings actually looked. But I love that aesthetic regardless. And I love that show. But it had some of the best, like, 3 or 4 seasons of television I've ever seen in my life. After those first 3 or 4 seasons, though, after Ragnar died, the show, it didn't go to utter shit. There was still some good elements, but for the most part, it completely fell apart after that. Yeah. So for me though, does that those first couple seasons, are they now ruined? Can I no longer watch them? For me, I still can. I still love them. And same with Game of Thrones. I still love those first 5 seasons. They're absolutely fantastic. So for me personally, I'm able to enjoy the self-contained seasons or self-contained like episodes that are really good of something and enjoy them for what they are while still hating and so being affected by like those later derisions. Like Star Trek. I love Deep Space Nine. I love Voyager as much as a lot of people give that show shit. And to be fair, Janeway has a lot of issues. But overall, I fucking love Voyager. Mostly because of Neelix Tuvok. Like, I live for their... And the Doctor. Those are my favorite characters. But, you know, I love Voyager. I even loved Enterprise. Like, not TNG. Although I love TNG. TNG's... Oof. But I even loved Enterprise for its short amount of time it had. But are those, like, experiences ruined because STD exists and the Abrams movies exist? No. So, I don't know. It also depends on the person, though. Like, I'm not going to say, like, if you're the kind of person that if it doesn't end good or if, like, a later part of the storyline is ruined, that you no longer can enjoy the original. Like, if you're that kind of person, I don't disrespect that point of view. I think it's dependent on the type of person you are. I hate my stuffy nose. Alright, so according to the map... Alright, so assuming we're still following the right path here. We're looking... Alright, we're looking for a cave next to a shrine post. Ah, there we are. Very convenient that this ancient map is still accurate. Geography, gameplay, mechanic, you know how it goes. She needs coffee. I would not be surprised if YouTube has rules from publishers about who is allowed to use any of their content at this point. No doubt they do. Oh, they absolutely have rules for that. It's just to what extent, because... Yeah, blow my nose. I'm covering my nose because I don't want to gross you guys out. Ugh. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Oh, that was gross. That was gross. That was oh, that was... I hate being sick. I hate it. Ignore the Kelvin timeline nonsense as well as STD and most of this. Yeah, I do. I can't see Shogun. Show us the Nurgle run. No. Ah. Listen, I live on a farm. I've been a farm. I'm a farm boy my whole life. I have shoveled horse poo, cow manure, even rabbit poo. Which, by the way, I stand by as grosser than any. Like, I don't care what diet your cow or your horse is on. It does not compare to rabbit shit. Especially it's in the big like cages we did with like those trays of poo. I'm sorry, that shit is grosser than anything that comes out of any other animal. I stand by that. Rabbits are the most disgusting creatures. But for some reason, The only thing that does genuinely like gross me out, like again, bugs don't gross me out. Poo doesn't gross me out. Feces, even some of like the pus that comes out as like we've had to deal with like diseased animals before, and they had some like pussy stuff. That doesn't bother me. The one thing that grosses me out is my own snot. Not even other people's. Like I laugh. Like one of the funniest experiences I had in high school was a buddy of mine named Andrew. He came in with a cold, and his parents wouldn't let him stay home. And all day he refused to like blow his nose. He was just like he just kept like snorting back in the snot, which was gross, but it didn't like wig me out. But at the very end of the fucking day, we were in science class, and he stood up to answer a question, which I don't know why he did. He was trying to be cheeky because I love him to death, but he's not a brainiac. But he stood up, he coughed, and then sneezed, and then we're talking like rocket, like snot, like burst forward onto his desk and over the desk and onto the floor. And all the girls in the class went, "Ugh!" All the guys are laughing. We are losing our shit. We are laughing so fucking hard. And the teacher kept a straight face, and he was like, Andrew, go to the nurse's office, and before you do, clean that up. There is a Kleenex material behind my desk here. Clean that up and go to the nurse's office, and hopefully go home. But the rest of us fucking dying. Oh, two of the girls left the room. They were that grossed out. It was so funny. But my own snot, like whenever I'm sick and I have to blow my nose, I am grossed out. My own snot grosses me out so much. I hate being sick. It is not fun. By the way, this is water. I just put it in a Mountain Dew bottle because it's what I had. For a bottle, anyway. I need to buy a new reusable bottle. I used to have one for like when I did football, but I can't find it. If Shogun add Yasuke in later seasons, it would be the death note for the show. The show takes place after Oda passed away, doesn't it? Or do I have my timelines crossed? Because I thought it took, because it has the Western like white guy who became a samurai, right? Which is also true in history. I'm pretty sure he came like, didn't he come like to Japan 40 years after Yasuke was there with an Oda? So if they pulled him out of nowhere, it'd be very fucking confusing. I mean, it's not out of the possibility at all, though. I mean, it's modern day Hollywood. They would bend over backwards somehow. Even though, again, he would be 40 years older than he was when he met in Oda. So Yasuke would, if Yasuke was still alive during that time, again, assuming my timelines are not fucking crossed here, he would be like 80 almost, wouldn't he? At least 60. Because we don't know the exact age Yasuke was when he met Oda. But let's be super charitable and say he was like 20 when he met Oda. 40 years later is when like the Shogun series takes place, I think. Because I remember looking at it in the promos. So Yasuke would be at least 60. The woke mob. Well, that's true. That's fair. Like the woke will still find an excuse, and they also don't care about history. Oda was gone at that point? Yeah. The music is Rogalati, that's my mistake. True. True. Oh, duel time. I've done 2 of these duels in the game so far. These are actually kind of fun. It's normal combat, like nothing like everything you do or can do against normal enemies in these duels, you can do in these duels. Like, it's awesome. Did I get my super? Did you donate via super chat or did you donate via like the donation link? Let me check. Hold on. If you donated via Streamlabs, I have my alerts set up, but for some reason they haven't been activating. I probably gotta reset the link. Yes. I mean, yeah, but if it was like an actual super chat, though, it should have gone through. No. Caboose, I don't have anything. Oh, let me check fan funding. Huh. Nope, it's if it was an actual super chat, it's not showing. If it was a Streamlabs donation, which again I highly appreciate though when people do those because YouTube doesn't get a cut of that. But no, it's nothing. Huh. Weird. Maybe it's delayed? Oh, let's give it a minute. Your blade work needs work, bitch. There it is. Alright, so it was just delayed. Let me read it in just a second. Oh shit, that was unblockable. Wait, what? It wouldn't let me back away. Sine! Oh, god damn. I dropped my block. I thought our combo ended. Give me my perfect parry. Oh shit. Of course she uses an unblockable. Ah, man. Yeah, that desperate combo, that is super long. Crap, I ran out of blocks. I was super close to that first one. I don't know what happened, like... Well, I know with that first one, her combination was longer than I thought it was gonna be. Gotcha. Gotcha. Who says Captain Janeway, best war criminal? Oh, that's probably why. That's probably why I blocked your first one. Is because you put in. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Janeway committed a few war crimes. Actually, I think she committed like all the recognized ones.
古い書にこんな一文があります。忠頼公はアザモーラを永遠に見守ると。
Have a good one, Bomb-Mander. Thank you for hanging out, my man.
場所を示しているのでしょう。鎧は千里眼を授けると言われています。どうか。
Probably should have been used in stone stance.
か弱き民のためお使いください。
I made it more interesting. Oh, I just want to see if this place has any supplies. It does! Good. Oh. Although I'll switch to stone stance for right now. All the way over there, what the fuck? Well, better get running, boy. Worst mistake of Janeway waking up on the Vaudoir, at least when it comes to Star Trek Online. I don't know about Star Trek Online. Like, I don't know about all... Star Trek Online, I have a weird relationship with that game. Like, when I'm in a super Star Trek-y, like, mood, which does happen on occasion. Like, there are times where I'm just like, nothing good is on. There's no YouTube channels or YouTube videos I really want to watch today. And I'm in a super, like, nostalgic and sci-fi mood. So I'm like, alright, I'm putting on some TNG. Alright, I'm putting on some Deep Space Nine. Alright, I'm putting on some Voyager. And, you know, I watch the shows. Well, usually when that happens, I also am like, okay, but I'm also, like, a modern person with, like, an attention issue. So I'll sit down and watch those, and I'll either paint minis, or I'll play Star Trek Online, as I'm like, I'm in that mood. But then the moment the mood passes, or I finish the show again, I'm like, alright, I've had my full, and then I uninstall the game and don't touch it for, like, a year and a half. She has the power of God, making 73 photon torpedoes out of 12. I don't know what you're referencing with that one, so I can't say. The war crime that I remember her committing... Well, off the top of my head anyway. I know there's a few. But off the top of my head, like, one of the war crimes I remember her committing was... Well... The easiest one is the war with Species A472, where she aided the Borg in... genociding a whole species, by using a bioweapon that attacks them on a cellular level using Borg implants. That's the first one that comes to mind, and it's even more awkward because at the time the justification was because the species A472 were going to invade the galaxy and they were going to be a worse threat than the Borg. because they were coming to destroy everything. But they made the war crime worse, because in like a later season, they encounter a species A472 like having shapeshifted into humanoid form, and they were planning on infiltrating the Alpha Quadrant and the Federation. And then they have like a sit-down meeting with them. And it's revealed... it's revealed that wasn't even the case. That it was not a mistranslation, but a misunderstanding. Species A472 were just they were blistering when they said that. They weren't actually planning on genociding the Alpha Quad or the galaxy. They were just defending themselves, and they were being boisterous. You know, they were pissed off at the Borg for invading their space, fluidic space. And so they were just basically saying, "Hey, we're gonna fuck you up." Ah, fuck off. Damn it. What you running away for? You bitch. Ow. Whoops. I fucked my wrist. Oh, yeah. Hey, Kern. How you doing, you sexy German? My sci-fi TV is nostalgia is Stargate. Can't blame me there. Stargate's really awesome, especially SG-1. Although my nostalgia for that series was with Atlantis. Stargate Atlantis, for those that don't know. Weirdly enough, I didn't actually watch the original Stargate all the way through until, like, last year. And I watched it with my buds on Discord. But for me, my, like, Stargate experience was with Atlantis, because that's what I remember watching on TV. And then my dad had, like, the whole disc series for Atlantis. So I grew up with that being my Stargate. I didn't actually watch... I'd seen, like, a couple episodes and, like, the part of the first season of Stargate here and there growing up, but I hadn't actually watched through the whole first Stargate show until again recently, just a year ago. And I gotta say, I'm a major fan. I can see why a lot of people consider it the best out of the Stargate franchise. I would even agree to the argument it's the best one. Atlantis has that nostalgia value for me, but if I took that away, is it better than Stargate SG-1? No. It is not better than the original. But with the nostalgia lens it's on, it is a little bit for me personally. But that's because that's the one I grew up with. Alright, how far away am I? We should annoy Art so long until he watches SG-1. Has he not seen it? No. You kidding? Has Art actually not seen the show? Okay, to be fair, again, I didn't watch it all the way through until recently, but I at least watched Atlantis. And I at least seen a little bit of the show. Wait, so is he like that circumstance where he's seen a few episodes but didn't get hooked and then didn't watch it? Or is he like straight, never seen it, and have no interest? He's never watched old Star Trek? Or Babylon 5? Next you're going to tell me he hasn't seen Battlestar Galactica. Like any of the shows for Battlestar Galactica. Still think the 70s stuff for that was better than the remake stuff. Remake stuff was a little... It scratched a grimdark itch, but outside of that it wasn't, like, amazing. That amazes me. Arch has not seen SG-1. I would have figured he would have been the old guard to have watched that. Not old Trek either. Like, the guy's a 40K nut. Come on, like that. You gotta have some interest. He's also a bit of a philosopher, so the fact that he has not gotten into Star Trek at all, like I could totally understand not getting into it, like these days, given like STD and stuff like that. But he's not like a younger guy. He's not old, but he's older than me. The fuck, Arch? Didn't they, actually, that is a question I have. I remember there being a remake or a reboot of the Stargate franchise. Shoot. Wasn't it also called, like, Stargate SG-1 or something like that? Clip the fuck, Arch. Thanks. Please show it to him with context. Well, Karin, you're... you. And that's also a crime. You need to watch, like, old Trek. Like, TNG... or like OG, the original series, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, if nothing else. Like, you need to watch Deep Space Nine. Like, everyone needs to watch Deep Space Nine. Everyone. I stand by that. Everyone needs to watch Deep Space Nine. Like, if you don't get into the rest of Star Trek, fine. But watch please watch Star Trek Deep Space Nine. DS9. Love the hell out of that show. Still my favorite of the Star Treks. Can't really beat it. I don't know why I keep checking the map. Am I going the right direction? Yes. Almost there. Oh, it's up there. Hello, Lord Middleman. Hello, Asmogan. Hello, Lord Middleman. How you doing today? You missed it. I started the stream ranting about Assassin's Creed. So apparently Arch hasn't seen Star Trek. Like any of it. Which is a crime. Crap. Forgot to click you. Maybe I should stealth this. Yeah, they're all focused on the dude. And technically, that other archer over there should be able to see me killing his friend. He's like, I'm too focused on this one target. Too focused. It's like, hey, buddy, you're dead. Your friend's dead over there. Didn't you see it? No, I didn't. How did that happen? I was looking right at him. Don't know. No, now they see me. Right. Okay. Okay. Whoops. I thought I threw it far enough. There you go. Who ignores the new Assassin's Creed character? This game is very Ass Creed-like. F Arch. It can be at times, yeah. Actually, hold on. Hence the comparisons. You are now free to go.
酒井様、よく来てくださった。
忠頼の末裔に導かれた。何があった？
忠頼公の嫡男が書いた巻物を
The game isn't buggy
見
enough
つ
though.
けてしまったのです。私はその解読のため連れてこられました。
鎧は奪
How much honor is the gamer? Much honor. Much honor.
違う場所へ行かせました。
It is dishonorable to not like this again.
鎧はこの石碑の下にあります。さあ、ご自分で手にしてください。
忠頼の石碑だ。忠頼の鎧。えも言われぬ美しさだ。
Okay.
下がっておれ。猛虎は近づかせぬ。
Papa.
これなら数百の海賊も一人で倒せる。
Alright, go to Papa.
忠頼公の再来かと思いました。
まさに弓取りのための鎧だ。
あなたにお話ししてよかった。さて、
So this is set in one of the Mongol invasions of Japan? Yep. Effectively. Although, like Assassin's Creed, this is historical fiction. It's more of an homage to... Because it's not depicting, like, this is a real historical particular invasion of the Mongols. It's a what-if scenario, kind of. As far as I understand it, like, this is not based on an actual story. It's based on, like, okay, there have been Mongol invasions of Japan. Let's have one happen for the sake of the story narrative. And then a lot of things are based on, like, historical stuff of the time. But it's more... This is an homage to two things, primarily. It's an homage to traditional feudal Japanese culture and also Kurosawa films. Like, the big element of this game is, like, it's very stylized based on the Kurosawa kind of thing. It is based on an actual invasion. It's just the little details are off. Yeah, that's true. But again, the specific story is not based on a true story. Broadly, it is based on a true event, but not real characters or interactions or overall occurrences that did happen. So it's historical fiction, primarily. It's like spaghetti western style samurai movies. Yes? I'll just go with yes. That's how the story relation is played here. Yeah. Oh, Mr. Spiral. Alright. Wait, was that the end of the story? Of the mission? Oh, shit. I think it was. Alright, what time is it? Oh, shoot. I gotta get ready for work. Good thing I caught that. I was about to be late to work. Alright, I have to head out, guys. I didn't realize we've been going for 2.5 hours? Shit. Well, sorry for grossing you guys out a little bit with being nasally and stuff. Did you grab the armor? Yeah, it's currently equipped. Yeah, there it is. Tadayori's armor, and it looks like it increases Naki reload speed, so increases total concentration time for 1 second. Headshot restore. So it's built for archery. So like this is like the archer build armor. It's not really my thing, so I'm gonna stick with my Ronin armor. But yeah, I have got to go. So make sure to leave a like on the stream, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll play some more of this later. Maybe when I get home tonight. It depends on how tired I am. I mean, I'm not feeling, as you guys have unfortunately experienced, I'm not feeling 100% yet. Still got a little bit of throat tightness and mucusy. It's great being sick. It's amazing. But anyway, I'm gonna head out. See you guys later, and catch you guys hopefully again soon. Bye bye.